Habit number 1. Wake up early and plan your morning. Most billionaires and self-made millionaires don't start their day at 9 a.m. They're often up by 5:30. Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, used his mornings for a 6-mile run. Richard Branson rises before sunrise to exercise and plan. Why it matters? Because early mornings are distraction-free. You get 2 to 3 hours of quiet before the world wakes up. That's when big decisions are easiest to make. Broke people hit snooze, roll out of bed late, and start their day in chaos. Rich people already knocked out exercise, strategy, and learning before others even check their phones. How it works. Set your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. Don't use that time for scrolling. Use it for one of 3 things: exercise, reading, or planning. Build this into a routine so mornings become the foundation of momentum. Habit number 2. Exercise daily and guard your health. Every billionaire Rafael Badziag studied kept a strict fitness routine. Lirio Parisotto, a billionaire investor, trains on a treadmill 3 times a week. Why it matters. Exercise builds discipline, lowers stress, and sharpens focus. You can't build wealth if you're burned out or sick. Broke people often sacrifice health, fast food, no workouts, smoking, and it drains energy. Rich people treat their body as a business asset. They know physical stamina supports mental stamina. How it works. Schedule 30 minutes of movement daily. It doesn't matter if it's running, gym, or body weight at home. Keep it in your calendar like a meeting. The return on that habit is higher focus and longer career endurance. Habit number 3. Read and learn constantly. Warren Buffett spends 80% of his day reading. Mark Cuban reads for 3 hours. Bill Gates still finishes about 50 books a year. Why it matters. Reading expands the mental models you use to make decisions. It multiplies your options and gives you an edge in spotting opportunities. Broke people binge TV or scroll TikTok. Rich people read business books, biographies, or industry reports. They upgrade their brain like software. How it works. Pick one nonfiction book today. Commit to 20 minutes of reading daily, either morning or night. Take notes on one idea you can apply right away. Over time, the compounding of knowledge works exactly like compound interest. Habit number 4. Schedule time to think. Billionaires carve out quiet space to think. Buffett spends hours just reading and thinking. Oprah Winfrey starts mornings with meditation. Thomas Corley, who studied 177 millionaires, found they constantly ask questions like, what can I do to increase income? Why it matters. Thinking creates clarity. In business, the biggest gains come from 1 or 2 smart decisions. Reflection lets you avoid costly mistakes. Broke people react to problems. Never pause to analyze. Rich people stop, reflect, and re-strategize before acting. How it works. Block 10 minutes daily for thinking or journaling. Write down one question you're wrestling with and brainstorm answers. That practice forces you into proactive, not reactive decisions. Habit number 5. Build strict routines and discipline. Billionaires are the most disciplined people Badziag ever met. Their mornings and days run on structure. Bill Gates used to schedule his day in 5-minute blocks. Why it matters. Discipline removes decision fatigue. You don't waste energy deciding when to work out or when to read. It's already automatic. Broke people live in reaction mode. Every day looks different. They wait for motivation to act. Rich people act by routine, not by mood. How it works? Create a fixed morning ritual. Wake up, exercise, read, plan. Repeat daily. Over weeks, it becomes automatic. The consistency builds momentum, and momentum builds results. Habit number 6. Live frugally and save. Despite the flashy headlines, most millionaires are frugal. The book, The Millionaire Next Door, found that 82% of millionaires buy used cars. They track spending religiously. Why it matters? Because saving creates investable capital. Wealth isn't built by spending, it's built by accumulating. Broke people chase status, buying new cars, branded clothes, and end up with debt. Rich people drive used cars and reinvest savings into assets. How it works. Track every expense for 1 month. Cut 1 or 2 luxuries. Redirect that money into savings or investments. Build the habit of delaying gratification, because each dollar saved today becomes $5 or $10 tomorrow through compound growth. Habit number 7. Invest wisely and avoid bad debt. The wealthy understand compound interest. They earn it, not pay it. Rich people keep a large portion of their wealth in stocks, index funds, or businesses. They stay out of high-interest debt. Why it matters? Because the difference between paying 20% interest on credit cards versus earning 8% on investments determines who becomes wealthy. Broke people carry credit card balances, finance cars, and rent to own. They pay banks interest. Rich people invest in assets that return interest back to them. How it works. Start with an automatic monthly investment, even small, into a broad index fund. At the same time, build a plan to eliminate credit card debt as fast as possible. Once you're debt-free, redirect those payments into investments. That's how wealth compounds over decades. Habit number 8. Take calculated risks. What it is. Every billionaire got rich by taking risks, but not blind ones. Jeff Bezos left a stable Wall Street job to start Amazon, but he called it a regret minimization framework, meaning he calculated the downside before he jumped. Elon Musk invested nearly all of his PayPal exit money into Tesla and SpaceX, but he knew the upside outweighed the risk of failure. Why it matters. Wealth comes from asymmetric bets. Small downside, massive upside. Broke people fear risk, so they never act, or they take reckless risks like gambling, lotteries, or speculative trades. Rich people study the game, manage the downside, and then commit fully. How it works. Don't avoid risk. Train yourself to analyze it. Ask, what's the worst that can happen? Can I survive it? If yes, move. Wealth is built by bold, calculated decisions, not safety nets. Habit number 9. Build networks and relationships. What it is. Rich people don't climb alone. They leverage mentors, partners, and advisors. Reid Hoffman, LinkedIn's founder, calls his network the ultimate career accelerator. Why it matters. One introduction can change the trajectory of your career or business. Relationships compound like money. Broke people often avoid networking or surround themselves with people who keep them comfortable. Rich people intentionally spend time with those who challenge and elevate them. How it works. Audit your circle. If you're the smartest in the room, find a new room. Reach out to one new person every week. Share value before asking for favors. Over time, your network becomes your safety net and your launchpad. Habit number 10. Protect focus and say no. What it is. Billionaires guard their attention like treasure. Warren Buffett said, the difference between successful people and really successful people is that really successful people say no to almost everything. Why it matters. Your attention is your most valuable currency. If you spend it on distractions, you'll never compound results. Broke people chase shiny objects, new side hustles, endless scrolling, constant busyness. Rich people double down on what moves the needle and ruthlessly cut the rest. How it works. Each week, identify your top 3 priorities. Anything outside of those, practice saying no. Protect deep work hours and no calls, no social media, no interruptions. That habit creates massive leverage over years. Habit number 11. Think long-term. Billionaires think in decades, not days. Jeff Bezos says Amazon's success came because they're willing to plan 7 years ahead, while others only plan 1 or 2. Why it matters. Long-term thinking forces you to build assets instead of chasing short-term cash. It keeps you calm during market downturns because you see beyond the moment. Broke people chase instant gratification, quick profits, fast results, or the next trend. Rich people delay gratification and position themselves for exponential payoffs. How it works? Next time you make a money decision, ask, how will this look in 5 years? If it's just a quick high but no lasting return, cut it. Start aligning decisions with your 10-year vision, not your 10-day desires. Habit number 12. Own assets, not just income. The rich don't just work for money. They make money work for them. They own businesses, real estate, stocks, patents. Even athletes who stay wealthy after retirement don't rely on salary. They own companies or investments. Why it matters? Because income pays the bills, but assets build wealth. Broke people focus only on jobs and wages. When they stop working, income stops. Rich people build systems and assets that pay them whether they work or not. How it works. Start small. Instead of just saving for consumption, direct savings into ownership. Buy shares in a business. Start a side project that scales or invest in real estate. Every asset you own is another worker earning for you 24/7. Here's the truth. These 12 habits are not secrets. They're choices. Billionaires and millionaires live by them daily, while broke people often ignore them. The difference isn't luck, it's discipline. If you start even one of these habits today, you're already rewriting your future. So here's my challenge to you, and pick just one of these 12 habits and commit to it for the next 30 days. You'll be shocked at the momentum it creates. If you like this breakdown, subscribe for more. The next video is every AI skill explained in 10 minutes. Don't miss it.